to another online class with the UT Yoga Club. If you haven't met me before, my name is Nicole, and I usually like to take 45 to 60 minutes to do nice deep stretching, Vinyasa, restorative flows, and that's what I'll be doing today. Just a nice Vinyasa flow to kind of change up the practice and give you a new way to flow. So I'm going to have everyone start in child's pose. You don't need anything for this practice. I am going to be playing my own music. So with that, you can just get into a comfy space, get into comfy clothes, and go ahead and come to child's pose. What that looks like is with your knees wide and seated on your back heels. You just exhale, sinking back into those heels, but extending your arms and hands long in front of you. My dog is here for our practice today. While you're here in child's pose, start to tune into that breath, your natural and organic breath. With every inhale, allowing yourself to extend forward. And with every exhale, out through your mouth and sink deeper into your heels. Go through this breath a few times just to channel into your practice here. You step on your mat in order to work for yourself and only yourself. And your breath is one of the things that you're able to create that is meant for you and only you. So while you're here in child's pose and you're breathing, you want to set an intention for your practice. I always like to do so. This can be anything from a motivational phrase, a goal you want to set for yourself, how you want to feel, what you want to release. If you don't have one or can't think of one at the top of your head, you can use mine. Today, my intention for my practice is to try and hold every pose for as long as I can to really reap the benefits of the stretch. That's what I need to do as opposed to just running through things. I feel like with the chaos of everything, everyone is telling you to slow down, but it's a lot harder to do that than we think it is. So set your intention. Keep that breath, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Bring your forehead to the mat. When you tuck your chin in to bring your forehead to the mat, you create a longer stretch within your spine. Stretch your hands out as wide as they can go with your next inhale. Pressing down into the earth with your palms, following the pressing of your fingertips. You should feel this pressure working its way up your forearms, into your inner elbows, up your biceps and into your shoulders. Once that pressure reaches your shoulders, let it all go by dropping your head down. Allowing yourself 3 cleansing breaths here. With your next inhale, slowly rise up to a tabletop position with your knees and your hands hip width apart. We're going to start with some cat-cows, and all that looks like is dropping your stomach, lifting your chest up to the sky, your chin and your crown of your head following. And with your inhale, with your exhale, curve your spine up, tucking your chin. With an inhale, drop your belly again. And with an exhale, curve your stomach up and drop your head. Exhaling and feeling your spine curve as much as you can, dropping your head. Inhaling, dropping your stomach and bringing your chest and chin up. Your next exhale, coming back to a flat back. With an inhale, lifting your right arm up and having your left leg follow. Your gaze is at your right thumb. And with every inhale, your arm stretches up, your leg reaches back. And with an exhale, tuck your knee into your elbow. When you inhale, shoot them both back, stretching them apart. And with an exhale, bring them in to touch. Then inhale, extend one last time. And with an exhale, gently place your hand back on the ground with your left knee to follow. Start with some deep hip circles here. You can go the other way now. Inhaling as you come to your hands and exhaling when you sit back by your feet. Inhaling one last time to come back to tabletop center. And with your next inhale, lift your left hand up with your right leg to follow. With every inhale, stretch your left arm up and your right leg up and back, lengthening your spine. And with an exhale, bring your left elbow to your right knee and hold them together, feeling this in your abs, but maintaining balance in your right hand that's on the mat. Inhale and separate, lengthening that spine, stretching forward, stretching back. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Engaging your core here. Inhaling to extend one last time, stretching as much as you can, and gently placing both back on the mat. We're gonna do our little hip circles one last time, just a little quicker here. Switch sides. And when you come back up with an inhale to your tabletop position, make sure that you have strength and stability in both of your hands. Make sure that your toes, the top of your feet are touching the mat. And by tucking your toes underneath you like that, you're gonna push yourself up into a downward facing dog, shooting your hips up to the ceiling. And you wanna find stillness here. If you have to pedal out your legs a little, move around a little bit before you find that stillness, that's okay. We want to tap into this posture for 5 solid breaths at your own pace. Making sure that if you have a slight bend in your knee, that you're lengthening your spine when you exhale. And with your last exhale, come to a high plank. Come down to a low plank. You can drop your knees here if you'd like. Lift up to an upward facing dog. Exhale down, back to downward facing. Pedal out your legs here. And however you want to work your way up to your hands, you can go ahead. Whether that be slowly walking, jumping, or floating. And when you get up to your hands, bring your hands close to your feet, having your feet hip length apart. Stretching out your upper back and your shoulders here. With our next inhale, we're going to rise to a halfway lift and placing your hands on your shins. Create a flat back with a forward gaze. And with an exhale, release it all, folding forward. With our next inhale, we rise all the way to the top, bringing our hands together for a slight mini back bend. Exhaling and folding forward, swan diving your hands down to your feet and dropping your head. Move from side to side here for a second. Grabbing opposite elbows if that helps you. Your next inhale, rise to that halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale and rise all the way up. Exhale and fold all the way down. Inhale, rise to a halfway lift. Bring your arms up and squat into a chair pose. Losing my balance a little here. Up in that chair pose, when you inhale, you want to lengthen your spine and your arms up, shooting them to the ceiling. Hold this here, engaging your quads, engaging your core. Bringing your hands back to heart, exhaling and folding forward. With our next inhale, we rise to chair. Bring our hands to heart center and twist to the right. Bring your left elbow over your right knee, making sure that your knees stay facing the front of your mat. With an inhale, you can extend your arms. If you would like to drop your right arm behind you for a half bind, you can. Making sure that your chest is open to the wall, to the ceiling. Your chest is not collapsed. Let go of your bind and bring your hands back to heart center, twisting forward and dropping to the ground. Letting everything loose, letting go of the pressure in your neck. With our next inhale, we're going to come up to a chair pose. Bring your hands to heart center and do the same thing on the left. With an inhale, twist to the left-hand side, bringing your right elbow over your left knee, making sure your knees stay parallel to the front of your mat. Twist open to the left side. Extend your arms up and out if you'd like. Dropping your left arm back behind you for a half bind if you'd like. Making sure to not collapse your chest and open up to that ceiling. You can let go of that bind. Coming back to hands to heart center. Exhaling and letting everything go. Hang here. Try and place your hands on your mat. If you require a little bend in your knees, that's perfectly okay. It's just important while your heart rate is increasing, your blood is flowing, to feel that pulse in your hands and make that grounding connection with the earth. It's very, very important. You can keep your hands here on the mat. Bring your legs back behind you, keeping your hips up. Into downward facing dog, letting your head drop. Bicycle out your legs here. Just to warm up your hips one more time. And with an inhale, we're going to lift our right leg all the way up. Flexing those toes and doing some hip, ankle circles. Can go the other way. And with an inhale, bring your right leg up towards your hands. You can help it if you need. And with an inhale, rise up. If you need to drop this back knee, you can. place your hands back down by your right leg and shoot that right leg back and up for three-legged dog. And gently place it back down on your mat. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So with an inhale, lift your left leg up. Flex your toes and do some ankle circles. You can go the other way. And with an exhale, bring your foot all the way up to your hands. Help it if it needs. Get grounded. Inhale your arms all the way up. If you need to drop your knee, you can. This also allows you to bend back deeper. Exhaling your hands back to your feet. Shoot your left leg back and up for a three-legged dog. And gently place it back down on the mat. With an inhale, we're gonna rise our right leg up again. And we're gonna stack our hips, stacking our right on top of our left. Keeping your left foot on your mat facing forward. Now leaving all of your weight in your left hand and focusing on your right foot that's up in the air. As you bring that foot to the ground, you want to raise your right hand off the mat. And this is what it looks like to flip your dog. It's a great feeling of accomplishment if that's something that you're working on. You just have to focus on the timing of balance between the hand and the foot. You can come back up to three-legged dog if you had flipped yours. And exhale your right leg down. Now with the left side, we're gonna inhale our left leg up, keeping our right leg on the ground, facing forward, stacking our right hip, or our left hip over our right. If you were able to flip your dog on your right side, you should try to be able to do it on your left. And it's the same balance of your left leg dropping, your right hand, or your left hand removing. Keeping all that weight in that left hand, or the right hand. Extend the left hand up and back. If you have flipped your dog, bring your left leg back up for three-legged dog and gently place it back down on the mat. Come forward to high plank, down to low plank, up to upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Breathe here. Feel your deep breaths. With an inhale, bring your right foot up by your hands. Turn your back leg to approximately 45 degrees. And with an inhale, rise up to warrior one. Make sure you're sinking in this hip. Exhale into warrior two. right fingers. Extend forward and back for reverse warrior. Inhale, bringing your arms and hands back forward onto your mat. Shooting your right leg back and dropping it to the ground. Shake your legs out here and do it on the left. Inhale your left leg up and bring it up in between your hands. Angle your right foot and inhale your arms up to left side, warrior one. Exhale, separating your arms. Your gaze is up your front hands. And you can reverse your warrior. Exhaling and cartwheeling your hands back to the floor. Framing your left foot. Shooting it back behind you and exhaling it to the ground. Exhale and slowly, with every breath, walk your feet up to your hands and let go of everything here. You can hug your ankles behind you. You can also get a nice stretch here by placing your palms underneath your feet, putting a bend in your knee if you can't do so with a straight leg, and just feeling the pulling of your upper back and your hamstrings, and the tension being removed from your neck. Letting go of this here. We're gonna rise all the way up with your mini back bend and swan diving forward. Walking your feet out to the sides of your mat. Have them angled at 10 and 2, and lower yourself into your goddess squat. Tuning back into that breath here. Now that your heart is beating faster, your breath may be a little quicker than before, but you have the power to control that breath and to slow it back down. Focusing on that breath, lift your right heel off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lowering it back up or down, taking one deep breath here. To lift up the left heel for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that gently, massaging out your hips here, and we're gonna rise up on both the balls of our feet, lifting up both heels for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lower your heels and sit back on your bum, bringing your feet out in front of you. With your palms facing up at your sides. Inhale them up and hinge forward at your hips. If you flex your toes, pulling them away from you, you'll stretch out the sides of your arms into your armpits. And if you bend your feet back, you stretch out your hamstrings and behind your knee. So adjust where your feet are depending on what you need. Release the grip with your hands by your feet. And slowly bring your hands back up to your side, lifting your neck and your spine back up one vertebrae at a time. When you get back up here, take one deep breath. And with an inhale, raise your right leg up and over your left, raising your left arm up, placing your left elbow over, and twisting to the right. With an inhale, raise your left arm back up, down beside you, and moving your right leg back to its original position. Move your seat bones around a little, and inhale your left leg up and over your right. Inhaling your right hand up, exhaling it down, your elbow on the outside of your left knee, and twist to the left. Now, twisting to the left, place your right arm, your right hand, place it behind you, and twist so that you're facing the opposite direction on your stomach. Bring your forehead to your mat here. And take a giant inhale, exhaling and releasing everything. Bring your hands face down at your sides, with your chin resting on your mat. And with an inhale, lift everything off the ground except for your pelvis. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Lower to the ground gently and place your face on your mat, looking to the left side. Breathe here and feel yourself melt into the earth. Your next natural inhale, bring your head back to center, resting your chin on your mat. We're going to do something similar, but instead of lifting, we're going to lift and grab the insides of our feet or on the tops of our feet by our ankles. With an inhale, we rise up again, pulling our legs while we push away with our feet. If you're able to get your feet inside of your elbows, that's a goal that I have, but it's a fantastic stretch. exhale, release the grip of your ankles, dropping everything to the mat and resting your head to the opposite side, looking to the right. Feeling yourself melt here. First with the pressure of your chest, and later with your thighs and the tops of your feet. With an inhale, bend your legs, windshield wiper them back and forth. And we're gonna grab onto them one more time. With an inhale, rise up for 3, 2, 1. Gently release, windshield wiper your legs. Place your hands, palms down at your sides, and slowly lower your feet to your mat. Keeping your palms placed firmly on the ground. Start to curl your back, your chest up with the crown of your head and your chin facing the ceiling. Breathe here. Feel where you're uncomfortable and notice where your mind goes when you lose your comfort. Breathe here for 2 more deep breaths and lower yourself to your mat. Tucking your toes underneath them and placing your hands up by your ribs, upper ribs and your armpit. You're gonna curl yourself all the way up. And with the complete opposite motion, tuck your hips under, shooting them up, and setting yourself back up into your last downward dog. And go ahead and stretch out your legs one last time here, lifting your right leg up to the ceiling as far as you can, and bringing it up by your hands to stretch out your glutes here for one moment. We won't stay in pigeon here long, but just to counterpose our glutes and our hips. With an inhale, place your hands firmly back on the mat and shoot that right leg back up, lowering it back onto the floor. The same with your left leg. Shoot it up and see how high you can get it to go, stretching it out and exhaling it up to your hands for a quick pigeon. Stretch out those glutes on your left side. And then inhale, bring that left leg back up and gently lower it to the ground. Dropping to a low plank, inhaling to an upward facing dog. Back up to a downward facing dog. I lied, that wasn't your last one. Inhaling your right leg all the way up. Bend it up underneath you and shoot it to the left hand side in the opening you made with your left leg and your left arm. You want to rotate that left leg to the side, opening up for Wild Thing. If you want to drop your right knee down for a reminder that it's your practice. And with an exhale, you can place your left hand back down. If your right leg is out underneath you, you can bring it back to center, or if it's bended, lifting it up and shooting it back, exhaling it slowly to the ground. We're gonna do the same on the left hand side. So inhaling the left leg up, bend it, tucking it in underneath you. And with the space you created with your right arm and leg, send it through right here. Curving or turning your right leg and opening up your chest for Wild Thing on the left. Exhaling and placing that right hand back down. Bring your left leg back through that opening, sending it up and back, and exhaling it back down to your mat. Moving to high plank and to low plank. Slowly lower yourself all the way to your mat. Pushing yourself up onto your knees and sitting here on your knees. Place your hands, palms facing up on the tops of your thighs. Thanking all of your muscles for being able to move the way that they do. Being able to provide you with a totally 100% unique version of a human, the way they allow you to move and create and form. Appreciate the breath that you're feeling, and appreciate the moments in this practice where you may feel uncomfortable. Because what is uncomfortable for you may not be for someone else, and vice versa. And all you do through that uncomfortable feeling is send your breath to it. Just focusing on this breath. You can place your hands at the ground behind you, slowly working them back towards your feet. We're gonna come up into a camel pose if you're able to. If you're not able to hold on to your ankles and you already know that, you can just place your hands right behind you and lift up, shooting your hips up to the ceiling and your head dropping back. If you'd like a deeper stretch, you can place your hands on your feet, supporting your lower back. And breathing here. And with an inhale, support your lower back, coming up and sinking back down onto your knees. Bringing your hands back by your side. Inhale them up above you. Grasping your hands and pulling your left hand over to the right. Stretching out your left side body. You can inhale back to center. Exhaling to the other side. Inhale back to center. And exhale, folding all Walking your hands over to your right side. Twisting as much as you can here. Feeling that stretch again in your left side body. Releasing this as you come back to center. Taking one deep breath. And walking your hands over to the left. Letting this go, walking your hands back to the center of your mat. One deep inhale and exhale here. Coming up to a tabletop, tucking your legs in underneath you and rocking back to a seated upright position. Bringing your hands to your side. And your feet out in front of you, keeping your legs bent. Slowly lower yourself onto your back, keeping your legs bent. Windshield wiper them. Over to the right side. Bringing your hands out to a T. Holding your left legs over with your right if you need, but your gaze is over by your left hand. Try as hard as you can to keep your left shoulder blade on the mat. Releasing this, bringing both of your knees back up. You can drop your left leg down, bring your right leg over, extend your right arm to the side, and follow that hand for your gaze. Try and keep that right shoulder on the mat. Exhaling back to center. Windshield wiping your legs back and forth. Gonna scoot your butt into your knees a little. If it's comfortable for you to keep your hands under your butt, you can do so. We're just gonna bring our feet up straight. Lifting our arms up, bending our legs if we need them, but grabbing our toes and slowly just spreading our legs out. Bringing them back up for a quick little groin stretch. Moving your hands to the sides of your feet. We're gonna move into happy baby. You can rock back and forth here if you'd like. And if you'd like to move into shoulder stand or from happy baby, release and work your way into waterfall. Keeping your seat bones on the ground, but lifting your feet up in front of you, trying to keep them as straight as possible. This is waterfall, and pushing your butt off the ground and supporting your lower back allows you to work your way from waterfall into shoulder stand. Making sure in all of these movements you are breathing and are continuing that breath. Hinging at your waist, You can drop your legs and your feet behind you for plow. And if you can't do that and you're still here in shoulder stand, or you're here in waterfall, slowly lower, as slow as you can, your feet back down to the mat. When they reach the mat, bring your heels to touch, up with your knees bent to the side of your mat. Placing your arms to your side, you can have your hands facing up to receive, and you can place your hands down to feel grounded. During this season, the sun is coming out more. I like to do more receiving. Receive as much sunlight as I can. Receive as much outdoor time as I can. But if you're grounded, you can also look at this as what around you, what in nature, what around this season allows you to feel oneness and allows you to feel peace and contentment within yourself. That's feeling grounded. And whichever way you have your hands, keep them here as you release your heels from one another, sending them to the lower corners of your mat, letting your feet fall wide. We rest here in Shavasana at the end of our practice to acknowledge all the different parts of our body, receiving the messages from ourself and the environment around us in order to hopefully feel grounded in the future. If part of you resonates with feeling yourself breathe when you're working on your still mindfulness, you can place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your stomach. Feeling not only your chest expand with every inhale, but how your stomach expands as well, and how both contract when you exhale. Be mindful of these small movements as you're breathing here in Shavasana. And see if you met your intention. Slowly welcoming that breath back into your practice. You can bring life back into your fingers and your toes as well. By bringing that movement back up into your wrists and your ankles. It can follow up to your shoulders, your knees, and your hips. movement reaches your shoulders, you can inhale your arms up and back, flexing your toes forward for your last full body stretch, lengthening your spine. And exhaling to bring your knees to chest, hugging both of them in as tight as you can. When you exhale and release this, you can bring both your knees to your right side, bringing your forehead to the mat and your left hand down the side. Thanking yourself for joining yoga practice and being able to move your body. It's in this fetal position where there's a sense of rebirth. When you leave this pose, you should have a new sense of cleansing and clarity within yourself. Leaving and exhaling everything you don't want to take with you. Leaving it here. And pressing yourself up off of the mat into a crisscross seated position. Your arms at your side. Inhale both of them all the way up. Bringing your hands together. Placing them on your forehead. It is here that I welcome kind thoughts. To move them to your mouth. To welcome kind words. And finally, placing your hands at your heart to welcome kind actions. Thank you for practicing with me and UD Yoga Club today. Namaste.